Alright, today we're going to cover the upgrade of Authentik version 2025.2.4 to the latest version, which is 2025.12.4. I couldn't find a procedure online, so I went ahead and put one together, and we're going to cover it today. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to connect to my dev box. Alright, let's bring up the instructions. We're going to remote into our Authentik directory, and this is assuming that it is a Docker installation. All right, so first let's list our containers and make sure that PostgreSQL is running. There you go, we validated that it's up and running. Now we're going to create a backup or a dump of our existing database. Okay, let's refresh right here. And there you go. That's our backup or dump. Let's verify it by doing a listing from the command line. There it is. So now we have our backup. Now we're going to bring down the complete stack. Okay, let's give it a few seconds. All right, so now we create our backup, and we're gonna go ahead and delete our old volume because it already has data, and when you upgrade to 18, if the volume has any data, it won't upgrade properly. It has to be upgraded and reinitialized. So we're gonna delete our existing one. Now we're gonna create a brand new one. Okay, we just created a new volume that's empty. All right, and there's some critical changes that you have to make sure that you make on your Composer YAML file. All right, because if you don't make the following changes, and I'll go over them right now, your upgrade will fail. So let me open up my file here and I'll show you. All right, the first thing you gotta do, you gotta make sure you specify the actual version on your images. If you had previously like colon and then latest, that doesn't work anymore. If you try to update an image like that, it will not download the latest version. It'll just download whatever you have, or the latest version that you have installed, which will be an older version. So you gotta make sure you change it. So let me just show you right here. You control copy that. If in the past you had it like that, you gotta remove the latest and specify the version that you want to download. Okay, so you gotta do it for Postgres right here. You also have to change the data volume. With the older versions, the path was bar lib PostgreSQL and then data. Now with the with version 18 of Postgres, it changed to bar lib PostgreSQL 18 Docker. So you got to make sure you update this path, right? And we are using Postgres Alpine, so it might be different, a different version, but for the Alpine version, OS version, you gotta use this path right here. All right, and then you also got to go down to the server version and make sure you have the version of the image that you want to download right here. Scroll down and make sure you also update the worker section right there. And then the last change you have to make on the volumes is probably set to external local. So you got to change that. You got to change or add this section. You got to make sure that under database is set to external :true and the name of your volume, because this will tell Docker when you bring it up again and you initialize it, it'll tell it not to create a new volume overriding the one that you restored. It'll tell it to use the one that we're going to restore right now. All right, so you gotta make sure you have all those changes or the upgrade will fail. Don't save. All right, so now that we validated all the changes right here on your Docker Compose YAML file, we're gonna bring it up. We're gonna bring up the Postgres container only. All right. Once that is up and running, let's give it some time. We're gonna go ahead and restore our data dump from our older original database. Copy. All right. Paste it. I'm gonna hit enter, and it should restore. We'll give it a few minutes. Once it restores, we're gonna go ahead and do a listing and make sure that our tables are all there. Just give it a few minutes and it'll be done. I don't want to stop the video so you guys can get a feel for how long this takes in real time. All right, there it is. So it has been restored. Now let's see, let's do a listing. And as you can see, there's all the tables and the owner is listed as Authentik admin, which is my user admin. All right, so let me go back up here and explain something I forgot to explain when you do the backup. All right, so when you do your backup, let's see here, right here, when you do your backup, this is the admin. Mine is named Authentik-admin. I renamed it so it's different. Yours could be different. Yours could be only Authentik. And my database, I also renamed when I did my original install, so it's Authentik DB. Yours could be Authentik or something else. All right, so make sure you find out your database name and the admin name you're using and update those. All right, so let's go back here. All right, so we validated that our restore was successful. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and see if we can list any of the older images. Let's make, sorry, clear. Let me do that first. Okay, let's see. 18 Alpine. Okay, so see here, I think that's an older version. So we're gonna go ahead and delete the older versions. It's very important you clean out the older versions, anything that you download with the latest tag, because it'll create problems on your upgrade. You'll have different versions running on the server or on the worker. So this step, it's really important. Now let's make sure that it's gone. Oops. All right, it's gone. Now let's pull. Now we're gonna pull the version that we want, 2025.12.4. This might take a while. All right, again, I'm not going to stop it. I want you to get a feel for the real-time process it takes to upgrade. Once the download completes, we'll go ahead and make sure that the image is there. Control copy. All right, let's wait for it to complete. Almost done. We got 3 more files to expand, I believe. There you go. There's the second one. And that's the last one. All right, let's validate that our download is there. Yep, and as you can see, this is the image that we downloaded, and it's 8 days old. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a recreate. So we're gonna force it to recreate the containers. All right, bring up the stack. Okay, so now we should be done. All right, so let me bring up the browser. So this is our old version. Let me refresh it, and let's see if it's everything is running. All right, so let's wait. We gotta wait for it to fully load all the containers. So we will have to wait a minute or two right here. All right, that wasn't too bad. Let me log in with my dev account. Now this section, I specifically added the 2FA, so not it's only there if you add it. If you don't have it, it won't come up with the upgrade. All right, so let me put in my 2FA. There you go. And as you can see, we are up to date 2025.12.2. And this is because my client clock is a little bit off. The time's a little bit off from the server. Let's refresh. Yeah, but if it's a little bit off, you're still able to log in when you have the 2FA. If it's, I think, over 30 seconds or so, then it doesn't let you log in. All right, but there's the upgrade. I'll post the instructions so you guys can download them if you're interested. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, thank you. Bye.